Pack Ghost ain't afraid of no ghosts, but he is afraid of Ghostbusters for your Sega Genesis, featuring the classic logo. You can't go wrong with that. Let's go ahead and take Ghostbusters, pop it in my Sega Genesis, and see how it holds up today. Let's go to the game. Ghostbusters was published by Sega and carries a copyright year of 1990. It follows the events of the 1984 classic movie. The release date is a little unusual since it came out about 6 years after the original movie and Ghostbusters 2 had already been released. But at the same time, the real Ghostbusters cartoon was still airing on TV, and it's possible that Sega still had the rights to use the license to Ghostbusters that it used when it made the Sega Master System version of the game. Unlike most versions of Ghostbusters, which are based on the David Crane computer game, this version is completely original and only available on the Sega Genesis. According to the manual, business has been slow for the Ghostbusters after defeating Zool in the first movie, but after a series of earthquakes, business is now booming. Could the ghosts be connected to the earthquakes or the piece of stone tablet they recently found? Dun dun dun! Drama! Ghostbusters is a single-player action platforming game and has 3 modes of difficulty: easy, normal, and hard. You get 3 lives and 10 continues on easy and normal, and 5 continues on hard. At the beginning of the game, you can select one of the 3 Ghostbusters: Peter, who has average endurance and speed, Raymond, who's the toughest but the slowest, and Egon, who's the weakest but the fastest. Typically, everybody loves Raymond, since you can take more hits with him and the speed isn't that big of an issue as the health is in the game. At least that's my experience. And poor Winston. It seems like everyone tends to forget about Winston. When you select a Ghostbuster, you cannot change him unless you start a completely new game. You start at your headquarters. At the beginning of the game, you must go to a specific location, but later on you'll be able to choose from 3 different locations in any order you wish. You will also be able to visit 2 shops to spend any money you earn. The item shop has stuff like the infrared scope that temporarily allows you to see the whole screen in the Woody house that is on fire, the gyozas that replenish any lost health that you already have lost when you enter the shop, and the bomb that is like a mini super weapon. And there's the Peking duck, which you can eat at any time to regain health during the game. And thankfully, it is not located under a dirty oil barrel. I'm looking at you, Final Fight. In the weapon shop, you can recharge your energy bar on the bottom of the screen, buy energy tanks that extend your energy bar, and buy special weapons and shields that run off your energy bar. When you start an action level, you use the D-pad to move your Ghostbuster, the A button to throw a bomb, the B button to fire your weapon, and the C button to jump. You can press down to duck and down diagonally to crawl. While you're crawling, you can hold down the B button to shoot, and as long as you hold it down, you'll continue to shoot in that direction while crawling, even if you go backwards. When you press up or diagonally up and shoot your weapon, your guy will stand frozen in place while you're firing. The bottom of your screen shows a life bar, an energy bar, how many Ghostbusters you have left, how many bombs you have left, and how many middle ghosts you still need to defeat in that level. You are not allowed to fight the main boss of a level until you defeat all the middle ghosts. Pressing start will allow you to select different weapons, shields, and items to use that you have bought in the shop. Your regular gun costs you no energy, but the special weapons and shields will. You are also shown how much money you've earned so far. You earn money for completing levels, finding money bags and safes, which can also contain bombs that can hurt you, blasting regular enemies, and catching the ghost form of the middle bosses. When you defeat a middle boss, a ghost will appear that can be caught. Your normal gun will automatically become a laser beam that can latch onto the ghost. When you hold down B, the laser beam will be pulled towards you, and when you let it go, it will lengthen. Your goal is to get the ghost over the trap before he escapes. When pulling him in, you have to be careful, as if he comes too close to you, he will damage you and run away. If you successfully catch him, you gain more health, more energy, and extra money. When you continue the game, you start at the beginning of a level, but you won't need to defeat any middle bosses you've already defeated. You're also free to leave the levels at the starting point at any time to return to your headquarters and shop for more weapons or items. Occasionally, you might see a ghost in the level that looks like Slimer. If you shoot him, he will either drop a red drop that gives you more energy or a blue drop that gives you more health. Once you beat all the middle bosses, your map will show you where the final boss of the level is. When you beat the end boss, that level is completed. Beat all the regular levels and a final level will show up that includes having to face most of the bosses again. Graphically speaking, I really like the look of the game. Outside the Marshmallow Man, most of the ghosts in the game appear to be original, and I think they have a really great look. I also like the super deformed versions of the Ghostbusters, and even how when you select a Ghostbuster, the other 2 Ghostbusters frown because you did not pick them. Oh no, poor Ghostbuster. The levels themselves are also pretty nice looking, with each one having its own feel. I also thought that the sounds and the music in the game were very well done. Family-friendly wise, you naturally have a lot of spooky type of creatures, but most of them are done in a very cartoony way. My guess is that if this game was released today, it would either get an E for everyone rating or an E10 and up rating. At the time of my research on eBay, including shipping, loose copies were going for $30 to $40 and complete copies were going for $50 to $100. So what do I think of Ghostbusters on the Sega Genesis? Wow, this is a great early title for the Genesis. The graphics are great, the music and sounds are great, and the controls are solid, and it's just plain fun. Perhaps the only drawback is the fact that you can't change Ghostbusters in the middle of a game, and the length of the game itself. It took me 2 hours to play through the game, so this game could really use a password system or even a level select cheat. But even with those drawbacks, this is a really nice game that I could easily see myself playing again. So where am I going to rank Ghostbusters? Somewhere in the top 10. I won't put it over Aladdin at 4, but I did like the action of Ghostbusters a little bit more than the also great Castle of Illusion at 5. So out of the 25 games I've now ranked on the Genesis, Ghostbusters is catching the number 5 position. Ghostbusters on the Sega Genesis is highly recommended to fans of the movie who also like early Genesis games. So what do you think of the game? Whether you agree or disagree with me, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Also, feel free to click the like and subscribe buttons and follow me both on the Facebook and the Twitter. I'm also a member of the Retro Junkies Network. At this time, I'd like to thank Storm Surge from the forums at Atari.io for sending me the manual for today's game along with many other manuals. Thank you, Storm Surge. And be sure to check out the forums at forums.atari.io. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the next episode of the No Swear Gamer. Take care and watch out for the Marshmallow Man.